to be here with you. I see some familiar faces and names. Hello to everyone. And today I'm going to have my trusty sidekick, Mr. Pig. Say hi. Anyways, yeah, I bought my dog a chew toy, so of course it has to be here, presented to everyone. So, anyways, you know that normally I concentrate on idioms, but I thought that maybe today we can try something slightly different. I was planning this for quite a long time, and many people actually asked me to do something a bit more, I don't want to say practical, something a bit more real, if you will. Because obviously idioms are good, they are useful, people use them, you read them, you see them, they're everywhere. But how can we actually use good idioms, and how can we use good expressions and the right words, the right body language, pretty much all of that in a certain situation? Be it in a shop, maybe, I don't know, during an interview, which by the way is today's topic, or maybe somewhere while traveling, you name it. But anyway, so today and the next time and the time after the next time, we will talk purely about the professional world and how to make a good impression on the people who you will come across with. So, as simple as that. Anyways, and of course, stay with me till the end of the class and I'll provide you with Toby password so you can actually take part in the challenge, which by the way will be very interesting for me. I always try to come up with different kind of challenges that I want to actually think about and read and interact with during a week, and you guys always make me laugh. So thank you so very much for that. You never disappoint. You truly never do. So anyways, I should say it's really hot here. It's really hot in Lisbon, so I don't know about you guys, but I'm just like sweating here. And by the way, that's something you probably shouldn't mention during a job interview because nobody exactly cares about your bodily functions. But we will get to that. We will talk about what's appropriate and what's not in a second, okay? So let me then roll onto the small face mode, just like this. Ta-da! Right, so today's title, as you can see, is Simple Steps to Ace That Interview. Now, to ace means to, I don't know, to kill it. That doesn't explain much. To do very well, to get the full benefit out of something, to be as good as possible. Basically, when you ace something, you just perform at the best level. Okay? So obviously, no matter what we do in life, we want to ace what we are doing, which makes complete sense. So hopefully that today's class will be useful for you and that whatever interview you have in the future will be aced thanks to this wonderful class. So let's start then. So first of all, we have to think quite logically. Why are people even bothering with interviews? What is the main purpose? Because obviously you can send CVs. So the employer will pretty much already know what it's all about. They know what kind of qualifications you have. They know what you like to do, what you're good at, if you speak any languages, and so on. So they kind of, in a way, already do know quite a bit about you. So why do we need the interviews? Why? So, in my opinion, and in general, the opinion of the majority of people whom I've talked to and the stuff I've read, is that an employer wants to see who they will be dealing with. As simple as that. So they want to see who is this person sitting in front of them and whether this person will actually be a good match for the company. Because normally, if you work for someone, you will have to come into contact with a lot of people, be it colleagues or clients, just anybody. So they really want to understand whether you are the right fit. So in my opinion, an interview is much more about the subjective than the objective. Okay? So, then, having said all that, let's have a look. So what normally an employer is looking for? What kind of things does every employer want? In my opinion, it's somebody who's polite, professional, of course, you are there to work, not to party, easygoing, somebody who's quite relaxed, not very stressed, because it's quite difficult to work with nervous people. A team player. So if you've watched me last week, I can say that a team player probably is a people person, somebody who does something because there is a meaning to it. And of course, flexible and adequate. So these are, these are some great traits. I'm sure that not only employers look for this, I think anybody looks for this, anywhere. If you want to date something, I'm sure that these qualities, more or less are important. If you want to be best friends with somebody, you'll probably gravitate towards these qualities as well. So obviously, these are just good traits to have in general. But this is something that the employer will try and suss out. They'll try to understand whether you can offer this or not. Right. So, now that we know what the interviewer wants, let's have a look at what they most definitely don't want. Like a complete no-go. Like a no-no to the highest extent. So don't be late. So this ties in very much with being punctual. Because imagine, if you can't make it on time for the interview, like, what kind of employee will you be? If you can't make it right for this first interaction, for this first meeting, how can they trust you ever with anything, really? By the way, it's funny because when I went for my master's interview, I think, I was nearly late. Oh my goodness. I literally ran in there covered in sweat. It was so hot that day as well. Just out of breath, covered in sweat. Just, it was not nice. I felt really, really bad, and I still think about it sometimes. I passed the interview. They were lenient, but it's not great. It shows a great deal of disorganization, in my opinion. Okay, don't not prepare. And you might think, well, what does it mean to prepare? What do you need to prepare? Obviously, yourself, your, body, your clothes, and so on. But you also need to prepare when it comes to knowledge about the company. Because what happens is, sometimes people attend interviews and they have no idea why they are even there. Like, they know that they like the field, they know they want the money, but they don't know anything about the company. And that is really, really bad, because sometimes the interviewer will ask, what do you know about us? What do you think we should improve? If you were a client, would you choose this or that? And if you have no idea what the heck they're talking about, you'll have a very, very hard time. Now, a very important thing I should say, don't lie. Seriously, don't lie. I know that sometimes it might be very tempting to add something a bit extra in your CV, or maybe to try and come across a bit more, I don't know, a bit more awesome than you quite realistically are. Don't do that, because sometimes it can be checked very easily. For example, living in Lisbon, the city of many cafes and restaurants, it's quite difficult to avoid these establishments. And I do know many people who work as waiters, waitresses, bartenders, baristas, chefs, just kitchen helpers, assistants in general. And many of these people, when they apply, they say that they speak English. They speak fairly fluent English. And a lot of the time it's a lie, and they don't. And it's just so easily kind of checked. So the employer says, okay, you can start today. Do you have comfortable trainers? Yes, I do. Okay, so today you will take care of that sector of the tables. And immediately for the employer, it's really bad. And then, of course, they are fired straight away. Barely even started. So, of course, this is quite a primitive example. But, these things always come out. They always do come out. And technically, I think it's even somewhere in the law. If you do lie about something in the CV or in general, and if you get accepted, you are on board, you are working. If at any point the employer realizes that you were lying, obviously they might ask you to leave. Just terminate the contract without warning or anything. Right. A bit long-winded here. Let's continue. So you have to make sure you dress appropriately, or just don't dress inappropriately. Obviously, it's very much dependent who you want to work as, but in general, of course, the clothes have to be smart, clean. You have to be well groomed. Nothing too flashy. Don't show, you know, don't show too much. Pretty much don't show anything really. If you want to be completely safe, it's a professional environment. You don't need to really show too much of anything other than your face and your amazing brain and brilliant experience and so on. Okay, a very important thing which I think is always kind of underestimated, and some people think that it's almost a good thing, is to answer a question with a question. Well, actually, that is very rude. That is very rude and very patronizing and very just, it makes you look like a jerk, really, for lack of a better word. For example, if the interviewer asks, so, what would you want to do in the company exactly? And you'll say, well, I don't know, what do you want me to do? Or you tell me. I mean, it sounds funny, but some people really do that. So be very careful. Obviously, I think if you have common sense, you will not do that. But sometimes when you are nervous, you might kind of try to be a bit witty or a bit, kind of funny, jokey. Don't. Really, really don't. It's not the right place. Don't criticize. Don't criticize just anyone. Some past employees, the government, your mother-in-law. Don't criticize anybody, because if a person is incapable of not criticizing somebody during a 30-minute long interview, then they are pretty much just drama. They will probably be too much for everyone. Nobody wants to work with a drama queen. Nobody wants to work with a difficult person who's always problematic, always has something to say, always complains. Nobody wants that. So try to be very neutral. If there are some kind of provocative questions, just kind of say, like, it's not really my cup of tea. Or maybe you can say, I wouldn't really do that, but, to each their own. Try to always be very, very neutral. You might not think so deep inside of you, but try to come across as so. Don't get too personal. We'll talk about that more. Don't post on social media about the interview. Very important. Because these days, pretty much every single employer under the sun will want to find you on social media and check what are you all about. So in general, photos of you getting drunk, twerking, doing something weird that's just a personal thing, but nobody should see that, especially not your future boss. It's it's not the best. Anyways, okay, and the three last ones. Express anger or desperation, talk too much, and of course, you have to be very aware of your body language. 80% of the communication is nonverbal. So that's that. Now we know what the employer wants and what you definitely can't do. So anyways, guys, I will go into the private community of English TV Live. Thank you for being with me. So everybody who is in the private community, stick around literally 30 seconds. And if you are not and you want to join, please go to www.englishtvlive.com and you can as well become a member. Right, so excuse me while you have to listen to some Latin American music and look at my hedgehog laid down on a bed of leaves. I'll see you very soon.